Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com and Phil's Gang Radio Show. That's right. And today, of course, is November 30th, 2022. And please, during this presentation, do me a favor, hit subscribe, like, and share. Okay, we have a lot to talk about today. I'm doing these while we're in this crisis so that you have a place to turn to where you get straight talk and you don't get all the bullshit that you listen to on the fake business news network. Excuse the language, but they just make me so grumpy. They just lie. I'll give you an example of what's going on. They're telling us today that the reason that oil prices have come down 40% since March of this year because of China and their unrest and the fact that the unrest is coming from COVID. That's why it went down 40%. Now, some of that is true, but a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of it is true. The real truth is the global economy is sucking big wind, terrible, okay? That's the problem. So we have the global economy is dropping, contracting big time. Our growth is just awful. Now, if you take the debt, 226 trillion globally. Just take our own debt here in the United States, 31 trillion. I mean, that's huge. That's monster debt. Debt slows the economy. We just got our manufacturing numbers last week. Are you kidding me? Manufacturing tanked. And it all shows up in the treasuries. When you go look at the consumer has no confidence. They're not buying stocks. What they're doing is buying bonds. And if you go take a look at the TLT, that's the symbol I watch every day when I'm trading, TLT, you see the bond market is going up. That means yields are coming down. That's giving Powell to set his hair on fire. The last thing he wants to see is the market go up because yields come down, market goes up. Everybody's jumping into value stocks away from the big tech stocks, and that sets off inflation. So he's grumpy about that. I mean, and here's the problem. All the signals we are getting, or he's getting, everything is screaming at him, stop raising rates, you're killing us. Because when you see oil drop 40%, that means nobody's doing anything. The economy stopped. I mean, you need oil for lipstick, you need oil for tires, you need oil for trash bags. It means that nobody's manufacturing anything because people are friggin' broke. The other problem is that you have as I said, the inverted yield curve. Now, the inverted yield curve, you can go and buy treasuries today. 3-month treasury rate, I think I'm just looking at it, 4.36%. Are you kidding me? 10 years, you only get 3.7%. That's called an inversion. That tells you the economy sucks big time. So you got oil that's telling him stop raising rates. You got the inverted yield curve saying stop raising rates, we're going into a recession. You got the labor market, which is getting worse because people are getting laid off, especially in the real estate sectors and finance sectors. It's going to get really worse. And the housing market is going to totally collapse. Nobody wants to believe this, but it's going to be worse than it was in 2008 when we had the crash. And nobody wants to believe that. Well, wait a minute. Houses went up 40% in 24 months during COVID when 10 million people got laid off. Are you nuts? That's a big problem. So every signal he looks at, Powell looks at, say, stop raising rates, you're killing us. He's got to do it. He's got to do it. And that's where the problem is. See, if Yellen in 2012, 2018 stopped, okay, this inflation, she could have raised rates up big time. Hey, look what Jimmy Carter, they always keep calling Jimmy Carter the worst president ever. He's the only president that said we're going to do whatever it takes to break the back of inflation. And he raised rates 20%, from 5% to 20%. We're right now at what, 4%? And he wants to stop? So That's why the market is so unsettled. And you can look at the stock market, you look at the S&P, everything is stopped. Like our oil stocks went straight up, now they're going sideways. Our banks, we did terrific with banks going up, going sideways. Our gold stocks, which are going to get better and better, went up, going sideways. Everything has stopped now. Everything is paused because they're waiting to see what Powell's going to do. I believe the market is going to tank, okay? And I think we're going to go back to our lows that we had back in, I think it was March, if I'm correct. I think we're going to hit those lows again. But, it comes down to when you select someone to run the Federal Reserve, you select someone to run the Treasury, you select somebody to be in the Oval Office, you got to get rid of, in the Treasury, you got to get rid of the Federal Reserve, academics and bureaucrats. If you keep putting academics and bureaucrats into those two positions, you're so screwed. Because, yes, they may be smart book-wise, but you take a good businessman who built a business from nothing and built it up to a multi-million-dollar business, he can anticipate. Everything's about anticipation in business, right? These idiots can't anticipate because they get their slide rule out, and if it doesn't come up on their slide rule, they don't do anything. And they don't have the guts to make the moves you do in business. So that's where we are. So the bottom line is what the market's going to do. They're going to keep trying to push this market up between now and January or Christmas. They're going to try to get the Christmas rally because this is all about bonus time, right, for the big Wall Street banks, the big bankers. And so they're going to try to do that. But if Powell doesn't raise rates, he starts lowering rates, that means he's going to stop inflation. That means things are going to get worse. If he raises rates, things are going to get worse. So if he lowers rates, things are going to get worse. If he raises rates, things are going to get worse. In other words, it's like going to the dentist. You want me to just fill a cavity? You're going to have to do a root canal at some point, or do you want me to just do the root canal now? That's what we need. We need everybody to sit down and say, let's just get the root canal done. Let's do it right now. And then let the economy tank, everything tank, and then we'll build our way back up. And we'll clean up everybody's balance sheet. Corporations, their debt's 300% higher than it was back in 2008, for God's sakes. At some point, we got to make that decision. Let's take the big hit. Let's go into that recession, get rid of our balance sheets, clean everything up, and we'll come out so strong. But you know what? The elitists who run this country, who run the Federal Reserve, they don't want to do that because they love inflation, because they get rich off inflation. Look, why don't you join my gang? Free for 10 days. Go to philsgang.com, look up where it says Working Investor Group, hit Get Started, and learn how to short. What are you doing? You sit there, you're getting out of a stock. I better get out. It's going to go down. And then you go look for another stock to buy. Wait a minute. If you're getting out of a stock because you know it's going down, why don't you just turn around and sell it short because you're getting out thinking it's going down? I never could understand that. Get me out. They go buy another stock. That's insane. Learn how to sell short. Once you learn how to sell short and you know how to go long and short, what a difference it makes.